I closed 3 sales this week.
Mm.
Pretty stoked about that. And I mean, I can just jump straight into questions. Like I've been doing all the stuff I'm having to do on a consistent level. So that's definitely been helping, especially the like affirmations. And it's funny because I thought the affirmations would be not as helpful, but
Mm.
they turned out helpful. Every time after I finish doing the affirmations, I just feel like I'm much more authentic, you know? And I feel like I can go back with people without that little dialogue that runs around in my mind saying, you're not good enough, or, you know, you're this, or you're that, or you're insecure. So yeah, I rate the affirmations. They've been really helpful this week. And I've been using them before trying to make sales as well. So before I meet up with a potential client, I'll do some of those affirmations, and yeah, fucking it kills. So just that.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me about the sales then? Do you think it's just the affirmations why you close those sales, or was there anything else that, you know, came into play?
Yeah. So I think the first thing that really shines through is the fact that I'm really passionate about training and fitness. That is something that you can't fake at all, right? You can't fake the fact that you care for someone and you care for this thing that you're talking about, and you want them to improve. You just kind of, like, there's no way to act like you care about something that you genuinely don't care about. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that, like, I do more than I'm expected to do. So every trial session that a potential client gets is usually blocked in for an hour. I give them an hour and a half to 2 hours of my time, and I make sure that they have the best experience, and they come in, and they leave the gym not regretting making this decision. Because for them to come in to the gym and potentially train with me is already a really big step that they might have thought of like for weeks, because people get intimidated by gyms quite easily. So just by giving them that experience, I feel like definitely enhances my chance of, you know, getting a sale, but also improves our relationship as client to trainer. So yeah, I think those are the factors so far.
But have you always been doing those things? Because what I mean, so for instance, you said you can't fake passion, or you can't fake the fact that you care. But then you would have had that same passion, that same desire a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
Yeah, and I think maybe what I'm getting at is that the affirmations give me more confidence in my product, which the product meaning myself as a personal trainer. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they could go to some coach on the internet, right? Who has more qualifications than I do, who's probably got a lot of awards, or is a competitive trainer, bodybuilder, powerlifter. There are guys with a lot more qualifications than I do, but what you can't fake online, what you can fake online and what you can't fake in person is confidence in your own product. And when it comes to selling, especially, you know, when it comes to saying, hey, we have packs that are $600 Australian, you know, would you be interested in potentially joining? There's a level of, you can't be hesitant in this, right? You can't say, oh, you know, if you're interested, maybe you can give me a call. It's, let me know if this option or this option works for you. And having the confidence in doing those affirmations makes me feel like my product is worth it. My product being their experience with me, and also my programming, my exercise selection, et cetera, et cetera.
All right, so I hear you. So what you're basically saying is the affirmations that I've given you to do have helped you to see and step into the confidence, like helped you to see how amazing your product is, so that when you're speaking to people, you just deliver, you say what you need to say with such power and such poise that they're kind of swept up and they actually end up signing up as well.
Yeah, definitely. I remember maybe like before I started doing the affirmations, or maybe it was the week that I wasn't bought into them. I forgot, but I remember at one point when I wasn't particularly bought into it, I would be a little bit hesitant about making the sale, because I'd think, there are plenty of trainers. There's 20 trainers at this gym alone, right? And it's like, well, they could just go with someone else and they'd probably get, more experience, or, more value from them, which, honestly, that could potentially be the truth. I'm a new guy here, but with those affirmations, I definitely feel like more grounded, number one. And number two, I just believe in myself and my product a lot more. So when it comes to the sale, I don't feel shy about asking for money.
Bro, that is absolutely amazing. I love that.
Yeah, man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So my question to you is then, what help do you feel like you need from me right now?
What help?
Yeah, what support?
Yeah. Dude, I had a couple questions, right, that I just wrote up before this meeting. And they don't really have to do with the sales process or anything to do with my career. It's more about like social interactions and the way I view the world, right? So the first thing that I want to talk about is I tend to see, or I tend to see the worst in people, which means not that I'm a bit nitpicky with people's personalities, and I think this is the way I view the world, right? I think I've been conditioned to view the world as people only want the best for themselves and no one has good intentions. So always be aware of people's ulterior motives. Don't trust people fully. Don't open up to them too much in case, they're bad people, And I just wanted to know your thoughts on that. Oh, okay. Say for example, right? There's this one trainer that is at the gym, and I know for a fact that he's a friendly guy, right? He's a cool guy. But when I first saw him, he looked a certain way and he held himself in a certain way that I immediately thought, oh, he's an asshole. He's so fucking unfriendly. Like, I don't want to talk to him because of blah, blah, blah. But I've never even said a word to him until I spoke to him, and he was really nice. So, like, that definitely holds me back to a level. Yeah.
All right, couple of things. So first thing I'll say to that is, the reason why you're nitpicky with people is because you're nitpicky with yourself. That's essentially it. So if you find, like, look at someone who's judgmental, which is, I guess, what you're saying you are actually, but anybody who is really judgmental of other people, like, oh my God, you see the dress that she's wearing? Oh my God, what a slut. Or, oh, Jesus Christ, like, how could he come out wearing those shoes? It's because they're even more judgmental towards themselves. Like, they just generally have a self-judgmental attitude, which then just which then becomes the lens through they view the world. So it actually starts with you and the way that you see yourself. So a huge part, like the main way to start judging other people is actually, oh, you're still there. Okay. Your screen went off for a sec. Is actually to stop judging you and to start accepting you for yourself and to be nicer and kinder to yourself. That is honestly where it starts. So you stop judging yourself, and then you'll find that you'll actually stop judging other people as well. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, it's like practically like in the moment. So you're in the gym and you meet this woman, and due to the way she looks like she's an Instagram model type woman. And you go, oh, okay, so you're this and you're that and you're this and you're that. And you just like, da-da-da-da. You have to kind of stop yourself when you make these judgments and then ask yourself if it's really true, and then kind of study it as well. A really good way to do this actually A really, really, really good way to do this, to actually like look past the BS in people. When I say the BS, I mean like the outer exterior that isn't actually them.
Yeah.
Really look into someone's eyes. I mean
Yeah.
this as well. Bro, I'm not even joking. So years ago, I was on some course where we did an exercise where we would sit with a stranger and look into their eyes for about 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's really crazy because what you realize is that after about 30, 45 seconds, you actually see the person's soul. And then
Mm-hmm.
everything about that person that every assumption that you made, like, oh, so he is a black man, so that means this and this and this. So, oh, and he's a skinny Asian guy, so that means this. It all kind of fades
Yeah.
away, and then you're just there with the actual person.
Yeah.
It's very good to do. Like, just really try it. When you're actually with people, try actually just looking at them. And this might sound quote unquote woo-woo. It really might. By the way, I'm getting a lot of feedback and distortion on the line as I'm speaking.
Is it better now? I might have covered the microphone.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Oh, thank God. Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's so much better. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Oh my God, it was terrible. All right. Yeah. So try looking, like really give it a shot. Like just actually really look at the person and try and see through the crap. And like, they say the eyes are the window to the soul. Look into the eyes of the person you're speaking to and realize that they're actually just another human being inside, another soul inhabiting a body just like you. So there's a few things. Number one, so first one is stop basically judging yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you judge yourself, that makes you more apt to judge other people. If you ever meet someone who's just really unjudgmental at all and really accepts everybody, I guarantee you that person doesn't judge themselves. Guarantee you. So number one, start judging people. Hold on, what the heck was number two?
Eyes.
Oh yeah. Catch yourself. Catch yourself when you're making the judgments and ask yourself if it's actually true. Like that's a really good one. So you meet someone and you think, okay, so this person is most likely stupid because of this reason. Then it's like, well, are they actually? Like, are they?
Yeah.
Like, question it, And then, like when you're with people, like actually just try like really looking at them. It's actually crazy. I was in Thailand the other day and I was at the full moon party. And I swear to God, I spent about 2 hours just doing this. I was walking around, I was meeting people, I was just staring into their soul. Like, just through the eyes into their soul. And they'd be like, gosh, why are you looking at me this way? Oh my God. And like, you just create this like huge connection between the two of you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Because like, I find that I judge people like that on appearance, and it's just unfortunate because it limits me. Like just all of a sudden, I imagine that this person is gonna act in a certain way because of like what I see immediately, and I think that makes it hard to make friends and meet people and connect with them with who they really are compared to what they seem to be. So yeah, I'm gonna give that a shot, and I'll let you know how it goes next week.
Yeah, and I've got something for you to try as well, and this is gonna scare you, and you're not gonna want to do this, but you'll if you do it, you'll be surprised what happens. So the next time you're with someone who you have a gut like reaction to, whatever it is, like, I think you are X. Tell them the gut reaction that you've just had. Yeah. And by that, what I mean is, like, let's say this man at the gym and he's a great guy, but he looks a certain way. So you're like, oh my God, this guy's really arrogant. You'd be like, you know something? I have a gut reaction to you that tells me that you're really arrogant. Yeah. And that you're X, Y, and Z, and that you're unapproachable, and that you think you're better than other people. And you know what? Yeah. I'm probably wrong. I'm most likely wrong, but I actually have this assumption. And then just see what happens.
Okay.
Because I bet
Yeah, that
you,
sounds terrifying.
yeah, it does, doesn't it? But you know
Yeah.
what will likely happen? Well, firstly, the guy's going to be shocked as all hell. Secondly, he's probably going to be like appreciative of the fact that you've told the truth. Thirdly, he's going to be like, well, you know what? I thought this about you. And you'd be like,
Yeah.
what? Really? And then there's going to be a wall between the two of you, which is just going to get smashed. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you will become like this.
Yeah.
Mm.
Cool, man. I guess that's just what happens when, you're willing to be a level of vulnerable, and take risks in social situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sweet.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that kind of just already covers my question, that topic that I wanted to talk about. The next thing I want to talk about is, like, I do not have a close relationship with my parents. In particular, my father. And I can see this, like, affecting my current life in ways where I seek validation from, like, the boys, because I don't have a great relationship with my dad and from the past. So I don't even know where to start with this question, you know? Um, how should I go about, like, improving this relationship with my family and particularly my dad?
You know the funny thing. So growing up,
Yeah.
I had a terrible relationship with my dad.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely terrible, because my dad's a very strong Jamaican man and he's raised me in England. And there's like Jamaica, and you might be able to relate to this a bit actually, being like, because you're Australian, but I guess your family's from, where's your family from?
From Hong Kong,
Okay,
but I
well,
live here in Sydney. Yeah.
okay. So with my parents being Jamaican but raising me in England, and
Yeah.
Jamaica and England having different cultures, there's like friction because Jamaica's like very conservative and like do this, do that, do this, do that, whereas England's
Yeah.
more liberal. And there was a lot of friction between me and my dad growing up, a lot. And
Yeah.
kind of like, what actually happened to change it? The thing with me is a couple of things have happened. It's like, as I've gotten older, I've realized like that my dad's actually just a person, and I've
Yeah.
been able to understand him more as I've gotten older, to like to see things from his perspective, because where he came from is very kind of small and insular. And say like he wanted his son to stay true to his culture, but he wasn't raising his son in his culture, and how much that terrified him. There's a level of understanding. And I guess the point I'm really trying to make is, I think what you should do, and I guess this is the obvious question, the obvious solution, but have you ever actually sat down with your parents or your dad and said, like, Dad, we don't have the best relationship and I want to rebuild it?
Yeah. Nah, we haven't. There's like, even if my family is out, right, because I'm closer with my mother. If we are ever out and there's like a potential that I need to be alone with my dad, I immediately start going like, ah, fuck, and this is not because I don't like him. Obviously, I love him and he's done so much for my life. But say my mom needs to go to the bathroom at a restaurant and it's just me sitting with my dad. Immediately, my brain goes, well, what do we do now? Like, what do we talk about? What do we connect on? And it just feels really awkward. When I eat dinner with my dad, we just watch TV and we barely speak, right? I want to be able to have the same relationship with my dad as I do my mother. I'm just not sure where to start.
All right. So I've got something else that you're not going to want to hear. Yeah. I mean, you want to hear it, you're just not going to want to do it. So,
Yeah.
all right. I think the thing you should do is the very thing that you're terrified of, which is effectively spend like a weekend alone with your dad and have some real heart to hearts.
Yeah.
And I mean it as well, because what's going on is that there's like, I feel at a guess, I'm just guessing, but I guess like there's things that you want to say to him that you've never been able to say. And there's things that he's
Yeah.
wanting to say that he's never been able to say. Like, am I right in guessing that your culture is one where it's all about, let's say, doing what you're supposed to do and acting a certain way, but there's not a lot of like emotional bonding or connection?
Yeah. More or less. More or less. It's just there's a hierarchy. It's
Mm,
a strong one, and you stick to it. You know, you do
mm.
what you're told, and if you don't do what you're told, then not a good idea for you, man. Like you do as you're told.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's similar to Jamaican culture. It's very similar.
yeah, yeah,
Parent here, you're there.
yeah,
Know
yeah.
your fucking place.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like back to back. There's not a lot of dialogue. You know, it's
Mm.
more like here's the order comes down from the top, and you just act on it, and you do as you're told.
Bro, that is so similar.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, that's what I meant. So
Mm.
I just think it's strange, you know.
But so is your relationship with your dad? Are you okay to keep talking?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Is your relationship with your dad is it is that an average relationship for your culture, or is your relationship with him worse than usual?
I'd say it's worse. I'd say it's worse. I had a period of resentment towards him because when I was maybe like 6 years old to 13 years old, I he basically forced me to do like swimming, piano, and saxophone, 6 days a week, 2 hours a day. Right? I didn't have no friends back then. I was an outsider in my swim team, which I was forced to do for 6 days a week. And he would always fucking yell at me and tell me that I wasn't swimming fast enough or my technique was poor. And the only way he would praise me is if I won medals or, you know, beat the other kids in the team. So, to me, I spent like after that, spent like maybe 3 or 4 years like resenting him. And I really do mean this. Like I just didn't like the things that he stood for, you know. Um, but I see past that now. I think what happened is what happened, and you gotta move past that. Otherwise, it's just pointless to keep holding on
Mm.
to stress from 9 years ago or 7 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
yeah,
So what I'm basically hearing is that it sounds like you and your dad have never really had like a heart to heart. It seems like your conversations have always been through the prism of, you know, I'm the parent, you're the child, I'm the superior, you're the inferior, this is the culture, this is how it's done. But you've
yeah.
never had a conversation with, what's his name? Your dad's name?
My dad,
Yeah,
Sam. Yeah,
Sam. Yeah, you've never had a conversation with Chris and Sam.
yeah,
For it, because like here's a good example. Like this is the truth, and I know that you know this deep down, but it is actually still true. So
mm,
Sam was literally just doing number one, almost certainly what his parents did to him,
yeah,
almost certainly. That's number
yeah,
one. Number two is also what he genuinely believed he needed to instill in you in order to make you successful in life. Like
yeah,
at the core, there was love behind all of that.
yeah,
Even if like me or you wouldn't necessarily agree with it, it was, I want
yeah,
my son to go out into the world and to to uphold the family name, to be successful, to make something of himself. And in order to do that, I have to get him to do X, Y, and Z. And that's the truth. I mean, another thing I remember, like I said, when my dad's concerned. Now, my dad's be a bit older than your dad, so I'm not sure how applicable this is, but it's like, so my dad's from Jamaica, and my dad was born in 1945. Point being, you see, like the sort of stuff that we have access to today, like even this conversation, which is going to go online. My dad didn't grow up with things like that. My dad grew up in a village, literally a village in Jamaica. So what that basically meant is that the world was smaller and there was just less information. So things that people know today, he didn't know.
Yeah.
The point is, I'm saying like a similar thing with you and your dad as well. There's things that you know now, even like the fact that you're aware of me and you might see whatever videos I've done or whatever, or whatever stuff you see online. Your dad aware of that? Probably not. You know? So to a degree, it's like your dad is handicapped, literally, like, let's call it emotionally handicapped or spiritually handicapped by the time in which he was born. And he actually doesn't have access to the information and the knowledge that you do. I think it's something to be aware of. And to try and bring this full circle, I mean, someone said this to me once, actually about my dad as well. It's literally talking about my dad. Actually, it's in the same situation, actually. I was in a coaching call with a man years ago, and he told me to do exactly what I'm telling you to do. This must be where I got it from. But he's like, look, sit down, talk to your dad, and like, not forget the culture. Forget the fact that you're Jamaican and blah, blah, blah. He says, Kieran, Glenn, have a conversation. The two of you, heart to heart. Like, Dad, we're going for a drink. Let's talk. You do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
You never know. You might see him crying for the first time.
Yeah. I'll have to do that when he comes back home, because he's overseas, but that definitely, raises a lot of good points. Because I know at the end of the day, what he's doing is, in his heart, what he believes to be right. And I think we just have to sit down and have that conversation. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to have a dialogue which is healthy. Like, I don't want to always think of him and go, oh, I don't want to spend time with him, because that's not the case. I know I do. It's just I need to get past that. So yeah, I'll sit him down at some point when he comes back, and I'll do it. It might be awkward, but if you resist it, you got to go through it. So it's a good point. And I think because obviously I'm sitting here saying, oh, I feel awkward around him, blah blah blah, but maybe that's because I don't see him as human first, dad second. I'm like dad and dictator first, and then human second.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It is a crazy thing to think. Your dad was like a toddler at one point.
Yeah.
If you could travel back in time, you could go back to some point in history and literally pick up your dad, and he'd be like 2 or 3 years old, and he'd be nothing like he is now. He'd be like literally a 3-year-old that just wanted to play with you and was like pulling at your hair and like making silly faces. That's literally it. And then at somewhere in between like the age of 4 to 12, 13 or something, he went from that happy, loving little toddler who you'd be picking up and throwing around and having lots of fun with, to laying the groundwork for this stern disciplinarian. He's like, do this, do that, do this, do that. I'm your dad, behave. And it's not really his fault, to be honest with you.
I think I just have to take the steps to let it go, number one, and rebuild it. Cool. That was a good answer. Yeah.
Well, I've got faith in you, man. Because you know what? The fact that you're here doing this, I've got so much faith in you. Because do you know
Yeah.
how many people would not have the courage to do what you're doing now? We're recording this, and this is going to go
Yeah.
online.
Yeah. 100%.
That tells me a lot. Like it
Yeah.
tells me a lot. So
Yeah.
don't worry, man. You're doing great.
Yeah. Thanks. So I got one last question
Hit me.
for the question. So why do I believe in leagues?
Leads?
So leagues. So, you know, I do believe in that phrase. She's out of your league. She's out of my league. She's out of his league, and vice versa. Why? Like, why do I believe that?
You want to know the honest answer?
Yeah.
Because it's true.
Okay.
Because it's just, you know what? It'd be nice if it wasn't true, but well, firstly, when I say leagues, I don't even just mean in a sexual sense. I don't. But I know that's what you meant. But fundamentally, it's the same thing. It's like human beings, we arrange ourselves into hierarchies. It's like, you know, most primates do, really.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if there's a I don't know, is it a troop of chimpanzees or whatever, or gorillas, there's like an alpha male who's at the top. It's actually just what we do. It's like you can take a group of children, take like 10-year-old children or 10 5-year-old children and have them all play together for a day. At the end of the day, there's going to be a hierarchy. There's going to be like one kid who's at the top, and then the kid who's at the top is going to have like 2 or 3 like lieutenants who are around him. Then there's going to be kids that are kind of, it's actually just the way it works. It's just it. So to be honest, the fact that you believe in leagues, I mean, I wish I could sit here and I wish I could say to you, yeah, man, like, you believe in leagues, but it doesn't matter. It's like, no, there are leagues that do matter. It's more women who are more physically attractive are desired more by men. Men who have more confidence, charisma, social status, blah, 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 tend to be desired more by women. It's it. For instance, take celebrities. It's like this. People who are friends have done studies. You know why people are friends? If you're friends with someone, it's because they're roughly in the same sort of league as you. That's literally the reason why people become friends. For instance, you can go on the street, like in Sydney, and you can go to some homeless districts, and you'll see that there's homeless people who are friends with each other, right? Yeah. But, however, Tom Cruise is probably friends with Brad Pitt. Probably. They probably have each other's number.
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the way the world is. You know what? So don't beat yourself up.
Okay. And moving on from that question, right? Like, I'm gonna be completely honest and maybe not particularly nice by saying this, but I do feel like some of the people I spend time with, or some of the girls that I've been with in the past, are simply put below my league, right? And so what does this mean about me? Does this mean that I've misjudged who I am as a person? Or does that mean that I should aim higher and hang out with the people that, in a sense, are on or in my league?
You know what? You see, I totally get what you're saying. And I get why you feel uncomfortable bringing this up, because I actually feel uncomfortable. Hold on. Okay, my phone just made a noise. I actually feel uncomfortable addressing this as well.
Yeah.
Hold on. Shut up.
If you like, I can search the web for.
Shut up, Siri.
I am.
All right. This is how I would phrase it.
Yeah.
Because like now when you start thinking of like, oh, I shouldn't hang out with this person because they're below my league, it makes you sound like an arsehole. And it really
Yeah.
does. Like, it doesn't sound good. This is how I personally like to look at it, which is that I try not to think about leagues, and I try to just think about like where people are going and people's like general goals and directions. So what I mean is, like, I'm personally always trying to better myself, whether that's physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, etc. And I try to associate with people who are doing the same thing. Now, I don't necessarily care too much if, say, somebody is below me on the journey, because they're still on the journey, you know, and they're still going to learn, and I can still learn from them. Whereas if they're on a completely different journey, like, oh, you know what, I just want to sit down all day and like, I'll go to work, I work from 9 to 5, I'm going to come home and then I'm just going to eat pizza and watch Netflix, and then that's just me. Well, I try not to be with those people, because that will then infect me and then cause me to act a certain way. But is that what you were asking, or did I misinterpret?
Yeah, more or less. More or less that. Look, like, once again, being completely honest, there are people that I do hang out with on a weekly basis where, you know, I sometimes see the way they act, maybe the way they conduct themselves, the way they interact with the world, the way they deal with girls, the way they look at their fitness and you know, self-improvement. And I go, well, fuck, like, I'm doing all this, and your idea of a fun weekend is, you know, playing video games and shoving yourself full of pizza. It's like, you know, we get along, but at the same time, you know, like, should I even bother? Because
I mean, the it's not the stereotype, the cliche. Is it? Yeah, let's call it a cliche. Is that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now, I don't know if it's specifically 5 people, but the general theme of that statement is very, very true. It is.
Yeah.
So, like, the very fact that you have a different accent to me is just down to the fact that we are from different places and we've been around different people growing up. Like, that's literally it. Like, I've never hit a woman in my life. Now, I would love to say that that's because I'm some brilliant altruistic person. But the truth is, if I grew up in Saudi Arabia, I'd probably have hit women. I'd have done it by now, because it would be normal. And the people who are around you, they really affect you. Like, when I was 18, I was friends with a guy. He basically changed my life, because he had me going to a nightclub called Snobs, where I met loads of people. We started taking drugs. As a result, like, I started getting into spirituality. That kind of led me into personal development. It actually changed the direction of my life. This guy that I was friends with. But if I wasn't friends with him, me and you probably wouldn't be doing this now. And growing up, like, here's another example. Growing up, I was really close to my cousin, and he was from a really poor background, and everybody where he was from, they all used to like steal. They stole things all the time because they were really poor. So growing up, I used to steal stuff as well, because me and him were close, and he just kind of, it rubbed off on me. I was with him. He'd go to a shop and he would steal like a Mars bar, a Snickers bar. We're like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I started doing it. And I did that all through my teens, just because I was close to him. So if people around you are doing stuff that you don't really approve of, no, you shouldn't, because it's kind of like, so like, let's take this conversation we're having now. So let's say you were friends with 5 people like me, and you were having conversations like this every week. Like, just casual conversations. And then think of where your life might be like in a year. And then also now think if you were friends with 5 extra people like the people who you're thinking of, and then you're having conversations about, I don't know, pizza or whatever kind of rubbish. And then look at where your life is going to be like in a year. Like, the people who you associate with, they affect you whether you want them to or not.
I mean, it's an iffy topic, you know, because it's like, when I hang out with them, I know for a fact that, you know, it's we have a difference in values. But then it's like, oh, friendship, you know, you're supposed to value them a lot because, you know, they're good people at the bottom of the heart. Like, you know, regardless of whether or not they might be, you know, a little bit lazy, unmotivated, quote unquote, low value kinds of people, like, you know, they have a good heart. So at the same time, you don't really want to cut them off, or not cut them off. You don't really want to, you know, just leave them in the dust like that. But I mean, if I'm reading between the lines with what you're saying, is that I should expand my circle and try and talk to or befriend people that are more in line with who I am.
Yeah, completely. No, I mean completely. Yeah. I mean, I okay. So what I'm basically hearing is these people who you're speaking about, you've probably known them for years and years, haven't you?
Maybe about a year and a half. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, okay. I was assuming they were people like you'd grown up with or something like that. I mean,
not so.
No, I mean I get what you're saying, because like if you're gonna be like completely ruthless, it's like these people do not help me to achieve my goal. So, but it's like that's just a bit much. It's just a bit much, but it's like, do you need to see them as much? Maybe you see them once a month.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you see them every couple of months.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But you definitely do need to expand your social circle. I mean, you met me through Phil and Alejandro, so how well do you know them?
Yeah. We used to hang out quite a lot because we used to do like pick up maybe 5 days a week. But then we've kind of gone down different paths now. But I've recently caught up with Alejandro because we're both working basically the same job. And he's moving into my area soon. So I think I'll be spending more time with them. That's basically it.
Well, my point was this is my point. So because of you knowing them, they put you on to me. And because of that has then helped you that's enabled you to start this coaching, which has then also boosted your personal training because I gave you the affirmations, which then helped you to make more money.
Yeah.
If you weren't friends with Phil and Alejandro to any degree, like if you replace Phil and Alejandro and add and put in their place two people who are like the people who you're talking about now, then there's no referral to me, there's no coaching, there's no affirmations. Because there's no affirmations, there's no free clients that you've closed in the past week.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. So it's like a snowball effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is a snowball effect. That's exactly the point. It's a total snowball. It's all about the people who you know, it affects everything.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm
gonna have to go home and really like think about that, you know, because I mean, it's just important. These are people that influence you, like not just on a slight level. When you see them so frequently, it becomes easy to be dragged down by whatever it is whatever negative things that they might be a part of. Yeah. Cool.
Anything else?
No, I'm chill for today. Like I already have 1, 2, 3, 4 things to think about for the next week. Yeah. So just to recap, this is just for myself. Catch myself judging myself catch myself judging other people. Eye contact. Conversation with my dad when he comes back. And expand social circle. Yeah.
Also, catch yourself judging yourself as well.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. You judge yourself before you judge anyone else.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay.
Really do. You're not going to get someone who doesn't judge himself at all and accepts himself, who then turns around and looks at other people and goes, you shouldn't do this.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. All right, man. Cool.
Well, Thank you.
Next week.
So, yeah, man. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah, cool. Appreciate it.
Right.
All right.